Welcome to the video. This is MTG Anonymous. If you'd be kind enough to like, subscribe, and comment to keep this channel going, that would be amazing. But let's get into the video. Alright, let's get this deck tech started. Today we have Rakdos Aggro. So this is basically an upgrade to the deck I played yesterday, which was Mono Black Aggro. It's really fast. Let's look. Average CMC is 2.1. We can usually win the game if we have 4 more lands, or 4 more ways to make mana. Let's go ahead and get into this deck tech. This one's real quick. Vampire of the Dire Moon again from yesterday. 1 black. You get a 1/1 vampire with Death Touch lifelink. Death Touch says any amount of damage a source with Death Touch deals to a creature is enough to destroy it. Lifelink, damage dealt by a creature, planeswalker, or spell with lifelink also causes its controller to gain that much life. So, like yesterday, this one's really for blockers, and then if you have enough of them out, you can start swinging because they don't like blocking them, and you can pad your life total, basically. Footlight Fiend for hybrid Rakdos, you get a 1/1 devil. When it dies, deal 1 damage to any target. So, I really like this card because you can swing into 1/2s and kill them on the back end, or swing into 2/2s, basically stuff like that. This is also good in case we destroy it ourselves for the damage, which we can do that in this deck, but we'll go over that in a sec. This is basically just to do extra damage, same as the Vampire of the Dire Moon. Shock for 1 red. Shock deals 2 damage to any target. Everyone knows what Shock does, but Shock is really good in this deck because we have a way to make it better, but we'll go over that in a sec. Order of Midnight, 1 and a black, 2/2 Human Knight. The sorcery is a 1 black Alter Fate. 1 and a black, excuse me. Return target creature from your graveyard to your hand, and then flying. Order of Midnight can't block. We're going to do the same thing we did yesterday. If you have 3 of them, if you have 1 in your graveyard, 1 in your hand, 1 on the battlefield, you can use the 1 on the battlefield, excuse me, the 1 in your hand, play it for the Alter Fate, return the other one to your hand, put that one on the battlefield after you cast it as a creature. Then when one of them dies, you can do it again. It's pretty much endless unless they can remove it from your hand, and 4 mana is pretty easy to come by even with this deck. Next we have Dreadhorde Butcher for black and a red. Zombie Warrior 1/1 haste. When Dreadhorde Butcher deals combat damage to a player or planeswalker, put a 1/1 counter on Dreadhorde Butcher. When it dies, it deals damage equal to its power to any target. It's the same thing as the Footlight Fiend, basically, except every turn that it deals combat damage, it gets bigger. And then we have enough instants and sorceries to get creatures out of the way that we're definitely going to get in. Chandra's Pyro Helix for 1 and a red. Instant Chandra's Pyro Helix deals 2 damage divided as you choose among 1 or 2 targets. So again, just like what Footlight Fiend wants to do, we're going to deal extra damage, or we can pick off 1/1s from our opponent. There's also a combo. Jaya's Greeting for 1 and a red. Jaya's Greeting deals 3 damage to target creature. Scry 1. This one's just in here for the removal, honestly, and then again, combo with damage dealing effects in this deck. Scorchmark for 1 and a red. Scorchmark deals 2 damage to target creature. If that creature would die this turn, exile it instead. So, again, just trying to do damage to creatures, get them out of the way so that way we can swing with Vampire, Dire Moon, Footlight Fiend. Plaguecrafter for 2 and a black. When Plaguecrafter enters the battlefield, each player sacrifices a creature or planeswalker. Each player who can't discards a card. So we have cards we can sacrifice, like Dreadhorde Butcher or the Footlight Fiends, and then deal damage equal to its power. So that'll help us out once Dreadhorde Butcher gets big and people start blocking it. That's basically what it's in here for. Spellgorger Weird for 2 and a red. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put a +1/+1 counter on Spellgorger Weird. It's a 2/2. So we got many ways to cast instants. We got many instants and sorceries in this deck. So it makes sense that this is here. The more we cast, the bigger it gets, and then they'll have to use removal to deal with it. Rakdos Roustabout for 1 and a black and a red. Whenever Rakdos Roustabout becomes blocked, it deals 1 damage to the player or planeswalker it's attacking. So again, we're dealing chip damage, get around our opponents, and then a 3/2 is Also going to need removal or 2/2. Flame Sweep, 2 and a red. Flame Sweep deals 2 damage to each creature except for creatures you control with flying. We don't have any flyers except for the Order of Midnight, so what'll happen is if we do good enough, then we can just play the Flame Sweep and then destroy basically each creature. Because if the Footlight Fiend dies, if it's out, then we can deal those extra damage to whatever we didn't hit. Also, we can just straight up hit our opponent in the face. Skewer the Critics, 2 and a red. Spectacle, 1 red. Spectacle says you may cast this spell for its spectacle cost rather than its mana cost if an opponent lost life this turn. Skewer the Critics deals 3 damage to any target. So basically, we're going to wait until Footlight Fiend dies and then deal its damage to the face and then use this to deal 3 damage to whatever killed it if it's still alive, or we can deal this damage straight to the face. Pretty interesting. Theater of Horrors, 1 a black and a red. At the beginning of your upkeep, exile top card of your library. During your turn, if an opponent lost life this turn, you may play exiled cards. The cards exiled with Theater of Horrors, and for 3 and a red, Theater of Horrors deals 1 damage to target opponent or planeswalker. So, this is in here because we have multiple ways to deal damage to our opponent's face. And so all we want to do, get one of these ways out, hit it, and then we'll be able to play those cards. Hopefully they're lands, because this deck needs card draw. The Devil, a black, and a red. Destroy target artifact, creature, or planeswalker. Anything pops up that's too big for shock or Skewer the Critics to deal with, we'll just destroy it. Carnival and Carnage. The first half for Rakdos, Carnival deals 1 damage to target creature or planeswalker and 1 damage to that permanent's controller. So kill a 1/1, deal a damage, and then unlock Skewer the Critics. Carnage, 2 a black and a red. Sorcery. Carnage deals 3 damage to target opponent. That player discards 2 cards. That's if they're way ahead of us in card advantage, we can knock them out. And then we have lands. 9 swamps, 10 mountains, 1 blood crypt, and then 4 Rakdos Guildgate. Again, you can put the Witch's Cottage in this deck. It'll work pretty good. There's one more card. There's one card that I thought was in here. It's actually not, so let's take a look and see if I can find it. I only have one of them, so. Anyway, I've been enjoying making these decks until I find this card. There we go. Persistent Spirit for 2 and a black. Menace Death Touch. Instants and sorcery spells you control have Death Touch. So we could more reliably remove Carnival and Carnage and put in the Pestilent Spirit. And so now, not only do we reduce our mana cost, but what ends up happening is now, whenever we use Chandra's Pyro Helix, we can kill 2 creatures and still have Death Touch. So, that's the deck I wanted to show. I think that this deck has gone long enough. I think the next video will probably be another one like this, and then I think we'll work on Brawl for a bit. But until then, I will see you on the next video. Later.